The International Space Station, our home above the world, hummed with life. It was a Tuesday, or what passed for a Tuesday in the perpetual cycle of sunrises and sunsets we experienced every 90 minutes. Inside, the gentle whir of fans and the occasional click of equipment formed the background music to our existence. We were a crew of 6, a small village orbiting silently, dedicated to science and exploration. Commander Alex Lex Corbin was scheduled for an extravehicular activity, a spacewalk, a task that always carried a mix of excitement and profound respect for the environment outside our thin metal walls. The day began like many others, with system checks and breakfast from rehydrated packets, the Earth a beautiful swirling marble in the viewport. Our routine was well established, a rhythm honed by countless hours of training and previous missions. Each member knew their role, their responsibilities, their place in this intricate dance of technology and human endeavor. The ISS itself is a marvel, a testament to what humanity can achieve when we work together. It's a sprawling structure of modules and solar arrays, a beacon of research and international cooperation. Today, the universe had a different script in mind, one that would challenge everything we thought we knew about our place among the stars and the very fabric of reality. The process of suiting up for a spacewalk is long and meticulous. It's not like putting on a coat, it's more like becoming a miniature spacecraft. Lex began hours before he was due to exit the Quest airlock. Dr. Aris Thorne assisted him, going through checklists with painstaking care. Every seal, every connection, every sensor had to be perfect. The spacesuit, the Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or EMU, is a marvel of engineering. A multi-layered cocoon designed to protect against the harshness of space. It provides oxygen, regulates temperature, and shields from micrometeoroids and radiation. It is, quite literally, a personal spaceship. Inside the airlock, the atmosphere was one of focused calm. Lex moved with practiced ease, his movements economical despite the bulkiness of the preliminary suit components. He breathed pure oxygen for a couple of hours before the walk, a process called pre-breathing. The outer hatch of the Quest airlock hissed open, revealing the breathtaking panorama of space. For Lex, this was a familiar yet always awe-inspiring sight. Earth hung below, a vibrant tapestry of blues, whites, and browns silently rotating. Above, the universe stretched into infinity, a black velvet cloth sprinkled with the diamond dust of distant stars. He moved slowly, methodically, exiting the airlock and attaching his safety tethers to the station's exterior. These tethers were his lifeline, his physical connection to the ISS, ensuring he wouldn't drift away into the cold, dark void. Every movement was deliberate, practiced, a ballet performed in zero gravity. His first task was to secure his tools and then begin the traverse towards the Columbus module. Floating in space is an experience unlike any other. There is no up or down, only the station as a reference point and the vastness all around. He used the handrail strategically placed on the station's hull, pulling himself along with gentle, controlled movements. The silence is profound, broken only by the sound of his own breathing inside the helmet and the crackle of communication with Aris and Mission Control in Houston. "Houston, Eva 1, I am outside and making my way to the work site," Lex reported, his voice clear and calm. The view was spectacular. It happened without warning, a sudden, almost imperceptible shift. One moment, Lex was securely attached, focused on tightening the final bolt on the new antenna. The next, he felt a strange, gentle pull, a subtle change in his orientation relative to the station. He paused, a flicker of confusion crossing his mind. He checked his primary tether. It was still clipped to the handrail. Then he checked his secondary, backup tether. His blood ran cold. The carabiner on his main tether, the one he had just visually confirmed, was no longer connected. It was floating freely, a few inches from its anchor point. "Houston, ISS, this is Lex," he said, his voice remarkably steady, though a new edge of urgency was there. "I think I think my primary tether has become detached. On board the ISS, Aris Thorne's head snapped up from his console. "Say again, Lex?" he asked, his own voice tightening. On the monitors they could see Lex's helmet camera view, and the external cameras showed his white-suited figure. He was still close to the station, but there was a subtle, undeniable drift. He was no longer anchored. He was slowly, almost gracefully, beginning to float away from the International Space Station. Panic is not an option in space. Training kicks in. "Lex, this is Houston. We see it. Remain calm." Lex activated the SAFER unit, the simplified aid for EVA rescue. Small puffs of nitrogen gas should have allowed him to maneuver back towards the station. He fired the thrusters, attempting to counteract his slow, inexorable drift. "SAFER engaged," he reported, "but I'm not getting the expected thrust. Something's wrong. It's not responding correctly." On the ground, engineers at NASA's Mission Control in Houston watched their telemetry screens with growing horror. The data confirmed Lex's report. The SAFER unit was malfunctioning, providing only minimal, erratic bursts of propulsion, not nearly enough to halt his momentum away from the station. The ISS, his sanctuary, his island in the black ocean of space, was shrinking. The familiar shapes of the modules and solar arrays grew smaller, more distant. He could see Aris in the cupola window, a tiny figure looking out helpless. "Lex, we're working on it. Stay with us," Aris pleaded over the comms, his voice strained. "Talk to us, Lex. Describe what you see." Lex tried to remain calm, to provide information, but the sheer immensity of his situation was beginning to press in. He was a solitary speck, untethered, drifting into the infinite. The earth below was a beautiful, indifferent jewel. His voice, usually so steady, began to show traces of the unimaginable stress. "The station is getting smaller," he said, his breathing becoming more audible. "The SAFER is no use. I'm still drifting." Then the truly inexplicable happened. Lex's image on the monitor began to change. It wasn't a signal breakup. This was different. The flight director leaned forward. Lex began to lose cohesion. Pixels seemed to detach. Pixels on his arm were missing. It was a slow disintegration. The stars, they're so bright that you could see the stars where his torso should have been. On board the International Space Station, the remaining 5 astronauts stared at their own monitors mirroring the horror in Houston. Aris Thorne was pressed against the cupola window, his breath fogging the cold pane, searching the empty expanse where Lex had been only moments before. The comms channel, once filled with Lex's voice, was now utterly silent. The routine hum of the station's life support system suddenly seemed deafening, an unwelcome reminder of their own fragile existence in this isolated outpost. Disbelief warred with a rising tide of grief and a profound, unsettling fear. What had they just witnessed? Dr. Lena Hansen, the mission specialist, was the first to break the silence, her voice trembling. What was that? Where did he go? No one had an answer. They replayed the last few seconds of the external camera footage. There it was, undeniable. Lex, their crewmate, their friend, dissolving into the cosmos. It wasn't an equipment failure they could understand, not an accident with a clear cause. This was something outside their experience, outside their training, outside their comprehension. Back in Houston, Mission Control was a scene of controlled chaos. Flight Director Gene Kranzbach stood ramrod straight, his face a mask of grim determination, but his eyes betrayed the shock. "Lock down all data," he ordered, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. "I want every frame of that video, every bit of telemetry, every whisper of comms analyzed. I want to know what happened to my astronaut." Engineers, scientists, and flight controllers scrambled, their faces pale, their movements urgent. The screens around the room replayed the chilling footage of Lex's disappearance, each viewing deepening the mystery and the sense of profound loss. The initial theories were wild, ranging from an unknown atmospheric phenomenon to something far more exotic. But as data was meticulously reviewed, the mundane explanations began to fall away. There were no radiation spikes, no unusual energy readings, no debris impact. The camera systems were functioning perfectly. Lex's biomedical telemetry had been normal, right up until the moment his signal ceased along with his image. It was as if he had been erased from existence, smoothly and without a trace, like a line of code deleted from a program. The pressure from above was immense. Days turned into weeks. The investigation into Commander Alex Corbin's disappearance yielded no answers. The final report was thick with data but admitted bafflement. Lex was declared lost in space, but it was more than that. He had been taken by something beyond human comprehension. The footage of his vanishing became the most feared video. It was a chilling testament to an event that defied explanation. The remaining crew completed their mission under a somber cloud. Every glance out the window was a reminder of Lex. Future spacewalks were reinstated with enhanced safety protocols. The incident sent ripples of unease throughout the global space community. It was a reminder that space remained a profoundly alien and unpredictable frontier. Theories abounded, from the scientific to the fantastical. Some physicists spoke of unknown quantum phenomena or interactions with dimensions beyond our perception.